I told Gino, as some of you who know me well, that my favorite F word is fun. You know, can you ever have too much? No. No. If we just take the words from that song, any song that's been played so far, right? It's a recipe for our success. It's an instruction booklet right there. It's like we don't need to even wait for me to say another word. We've all been given the invitation already to live in this holy, sacred space, this living sanctuary that we call little bodies walking around on the planet. And ask ourselves, as it says in scriptures in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, be ye transformed by the renewing of our minds rather than conformed by the world out there. And what I'm so passionate about is there's nothing out there. Nothing out there. Except for what I say is there. It's in here for me to create what's out there. And if I don't like what's out there, that's an invitation for me to go right in here and ask myself, what kind of world do I want to create? Do I want to see? Do I want to experience? What am I thinking about? What am I saying about it? And it's not always easy. I know that. But every single moment is a divine opportunity to get clear, to come clean, right? To let go of those regrets and resentments and againstness and blame and all that other stuff. And that's the invitation. That's the invitation. We get to clean up our side of the street so we can look on what looks like the other side of the street, and there is no other. It looks like we came from another mother, father, and we're all the same. In our beautiful, grand, and glorious differences, we're all the same. We are all giving the same beautiful, divine mind, and we get to do the work. What a gift, you guys, that we get to do the work. Who's excited about doing the work? Yes. I love to travel with my magic wand, and I like to bring one for everyone. But does everybody here, and I know some don't, and it's okay, because we can use our imagination. Does everybody have an arm? And some do, and some don't, right? And some have 5 fingers, and some don't. But oh my God, one of the gifts we've been given is our imagination, so you can use your imagination. No excuses. You can raise your hand, there's your wand. Right here, finger, 1, 2, 3. Magic, 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 manifesting all good in our consciousness. Nobody can take that away from us, right? Ever. And one of the tools that I find so powerful and so beautiful, and perhaps this is your first time here at Unity, but in Unity, we use the 5 basic Unity principles. Anybody know what those are? First one. Okay, former YOUers and Uniteens, I see a couple of you out there. God is. Let's make it simple. God is. And you know what? Here's another invitation. If any word that I use triggers you, doesn't feel good, doesn't feel comfortable, change it out. Transform it. I like to use the word love. For me, that's the answer to everything, okay? Try to trick me. You won't be able to, because it's always the answer. Always the answer. So fill in with anything you want: life, love, peace, joy, right? Chocolate, okay, dark chocolate. That's my preference, 85% at least. Okay, God is. We can stop right there. If we were all in agreement and we said, yeah, we're good, okay, God is, done. we would walk out that door, and what would we see? God, everywhere. Life, love, joy, peace, goodness, everywhere. Right? Stops right there. One power, one presence in all the universe showing up as me. God is good, great, awesome, done. But the second one, what's the second one? Oh my God, my kids are right here. I am. The second unity basic principle is that we are each a divine, individuated, unique expression of the divine presence and power in all the universe showing up as good. Everyone sitting here is a unique expression. Oh my God, but I'm going to tell you, that's one of my favorite things. How boring would it be to look out a sea of me? Only me. Everybody walking around, talking the same, doing the same. Now, yes, I know that many of us have been told that that's what we gotta do to make this world work. I beg to differ. That is not the truth. The truth is, we all have our own fingerprint. Oh my God, think about that. Try to change that, and you can't. We're each a unique expression of God, made in the image and the likeness of the one power and one presence in all the universe. And how do we forget that? Because we were told to conform. Do as I say, be as I say. And inside, tell me if anybody can relate to this. Inside, we're contracting because we're squirming and we're going, oh my God, but that doesn't work for me. Of course it doesn't, because you're already taken. And so is he, and so is she, and so is everybody else. We're a unique expression. I had the honor and the delight of jamming with my kids last night at Trans Pride in LA, where my angel, Ezra, got to sing 2 original songs. And it was, it was one of the most beautiful expressions of what I'm talking about. That we are each divinely made in the image and the likeness of love. We get to be that. You see, it's not this or that, he or she. We don't live in a binary world. We live in allness. What is included in allness? Everything. Everything. And so it's okay that these new ideas make us a little uncomfortable. I say that's a good sign. That means we're awake, because we're feeling something. We're feeling something and realizing, oh, what I was told might not be true. And you know what? It's okay, because this is an evolution of consciousness. Thank God. We are evolving. And you know what? What a precious gift we've been given. Consciousness. Right? That we can think. And we can ask ourselves, is what I'm believing true? Is what I'm believing actually true? Which happens to be Unity's basic principle number 3. The law of mind action, you see. We get to think about what someone is saying to us, and we get to ask ourselves every single second, is it true, is it true, is it true? Does that work for me? How does that make me feel? And then we get to apply these tools and ask ourselves, okay, if this is not true for me, then what is? Then what is? And if we don't know in that moment, can we trust that we will know? You see, because as above, so below. What we think, we create. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And if I'm not producing kind thoughts, whose job is it to do the work and to change that? I love that Denise is doing the Q effect. I'm a Q effect coach as well. And when I first saw the Q effect in action at Unity Village, I was there for 3 minutes when someone was presenting the Q effect, and I said, oh man, I'm in. I want to do that. And I became a coach. The only thing is, with tools, what do you got to do? Use them, right? You snooze, you lose. We got to use them. We got to use them. But that's also a gift and a blessing that we have these tools. There's so many of them. There isn't one way. There's not one way. There are infinite paths to oneness. Okay, we say that, and sometimes we walk out those doors. Well, why aren't they doing what I said? Why isn't it happening the way I want it to happen? Didn't we say there are infinite paths to oneness? We get to decide, though, what we're going to hang out with, where we're going to go, what we're going to think. We get to decide if that works for us or not. You see, love is love. Love always works. Love has nothing to do with whether we like someone or not. Do you get that? That's love without conditions. I'm going to love you no matter what. Whether I agree with you or not, love has nothing to do with whether I agree with you. Love is love, and love does not go away. We do, right? The stream is flowing, flowing, flowing. We're standing at the banks watching love go by, thinking that it's passing us by. But it's right here, and it's not going anywhere. That's what brings me peace, to know that it's right here and it's not going anywhere, and if I'm not feeling love, I must have stepped out of the flow. And it's okay, because I catch myself and I realize, oh, what do I have to do? Step back in, right? Feel that cool water, ooh, yes. It didn't go anywhere, I did. And it's here, waiting for me. I love to wake up in the morning and say, surprise me, universe. Surprise. I couldn't say that just a little while ago because I didn't really believe that all good was here. I had too many examples in my life. I'm sure you can relate to this, right? Too many examples. Oh, that can't be true. Not for all of us, because I have had this, that, and the other happen. All of us have had something, right? All of us have. But again, we come back to the renewing of our minds. Do we want to live in the mind of woundedness? Or do we want to live in the divine mind where everything is here for us? Divine masculine and divine feminine, that is the living truth of each and every one of us, has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with we are that. How can we say that there is only one power and one presence in all the universe and think that that's not us? We get to decide what we are and what works for us. That's beautiful. And the tools, to me, that help us hang out more in divine mind rather than the little monkey. Monkeys are cute, don't you know? They're cute. But I'd rather be hanging out in divine mind, keeping myself open, knowing that all good is here and I'm loved and supported, and if I don't have the answer right now, I just shut my mouth, get quiet, and listen. And that's what meditation is. That's all meditation is. It's nothing complicated. I used to be afraid of meditation. Why can't I do that? Why can't I do that? Everybody's telling me that that would be so helpful. It seemed like this daunting thing out there, like I had to do that. And all of a sudden I realized, pause, Christine. Take a breath. That's how simple it is. That's meditation. That's listening to my beloved standing in front of me, whoever that is, because I know they're my beloved. And I'm listening to what they have to say. And I hear the answer that I was seeking in the pause between the words. And I'm like, whew, there it is. How could it drop in if I was so crazed in my mind? But I took a moment to listen. That's meditation. We can do that 24/7. We don't have to wait to sit on a stool or a whatever. You don't have to do anything in any certain way. The only certain way is what works for you, because there are infinite paths to oneness. Right? Instead, we walk around saying, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work. Well, what works for you? There's the $1 million question. That's a $1 million question. Am I willing to get out of the way so what works for me can speak to me so that I know? And then I have the opportunity to put that into practice and to use it. Because the fourth principle is prayer and meditation. You see, but those are just words that mean nothing until we apply them and we ask ourselves, oh, what does this mean for me? Do you know how I see prayer now? Like this recipe. It's like I love to cook, and I don't follow recipes usually. So they just come to me, and I like to put little this, little that, little this doesn't taste good, put some more of that in. Prayer's a recipe, really. It's instructions. I'm saying, wow, this is what I would like, a shiny trike with a big red bow. That's why I love Santa and all those things, because we get to put it out there of what we're asking for, and then we need to listen. How is it wanting to come through us? How is it wanting to come to us? Because it's already here, isn't it, Bob? It's already here. We say the good is here because it is. But if we want to know what our next step is, then we have to listen. Because the fifth basic unity principle is action. But if we don't true up our heart and our mind so that they intersect right here, look how brilliant we're made, so brilliantly, aren't we? The heart is here, the mind is here. Sometimes we don't bridge that gap and just travel down a little bit, tap into the heart so that our words come through the divine intersection of the mind and the heart, the masculine and the feminine energy that we are all divinely created. Right? So we're taking action. We're acting as the I am that I am. We don't need to go out in the world with our swords dueling all the time in this what looks like duality. It's only duality because we do that. Right? Dueling minds think alike. Conflict for conflict, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And what is the golden rule about? Who knows the golden rule? Yeah. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I know consistently, I've had this thought and I've had this question asked me, right, children? But Mom, that's so crazy. So-and-so is doing this, that, and the other, and it doesn't feel good. Doesn't that mean that they want to be treated like that, so I'm going to do that back? You know what I mean, right? How often are we in someone's presence and it's conflicted and it's yucky, for lack of a better word. Actually, that is a better word, yucky. It doesn't feel good, and so we think to ourselves, or actually, it's probably we don't even think. We just react and we respond, well, geez, let me make them happy and treat them like poop. Right? But when we get in and live from divine mind, we would ask ourselves, what would love do? Love would love. Okay, so I'm going to love a little bit more right now. And sometimes we have to love ourselves enough to get out of the situation. Hello. But it doesn't mean that we put our againstness and our conflict and our blame and all that stuff on the other person. You see, we get just distracted from our goal. Dr. Howard Thurman said, "Don't ask what the world needs." Who knows the rest of that one? Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you, the unique expression that you are, come alive. Because what the world needs is more people that have come alive. Right? That's what we need, more people that have come alive. So we ask ourselves today, as we take a breath, let's all take a breath together, that holy breath together. And today, in this very moment, we ask ourselves, what makes me come alive? And in this prayerful, meditative space, the pause, we listen. And that's what we do in the world, because that's what the world needs. More people who have come alive. Welcome home.